I'm Shannon Martin. Mourning and anguish in Buffalo tonight after a shooting killed 10 people in what police are investigating as, quote, racially motivated violent extremism.
I didn't know if she was alive. She didn't know if I was alive. Like, it was just crazy.
Stories of survival and grief for those shot and killed at a grocery store.
Oh man, it is so good to be home.
Plus, it is the biggest night in Canadian music. We have the winners and all the highlights on and off stage. And a group of Ukrainians touched down in Toronto, their journey to get here and hopes for the days ahead.
This is CBC Late Night News.
Thanks for joining us. Police say there is no question this weekend's mass shooting in Buffalo was carried out by a racist with hate in his heart, soul, and mind. Tonight, U.S. President Joe Biden said this.
We must all work together to address the hate that remains a stain on the soul of America.
A prayer vigil was held outside the supermarket where it happened. Detectives say the gunman had publicized a racist manifesto online and drove several hours from his home to target a predominantly black neighborhood. New York's governor says he was known to authorities. Police now trying to figure out why he wasn't stopped. And we are learning more about the lives lost. People out grocery shopping on a Saturday. Talia Ricci shows us how some are being remembered tonight. And she brings us the story of a mom and young daughter who were in the store when the shooting began.
People who were inside the supermarket describe moments of sheer terror.
He was chasing us. It was just, he was shooting everyone twice. It was so, it's just the lives that were lost. It was just like horrible.
Julie Harwell's daughter and her father were on the other side of the store. They snuck off to buy Julie a birthday cake. They ended up hiding in a freezer.
They had to hide first and wait till the shots were done. I didn't know if she was alive. She didn't know if I was alive. Like, it was just crazy.
Officials and family members have started to release the identities of the 10 people killed. Roberta Drury was one of them. Her sister telling CBC News Roberta was outgoing and moved to Buffalo to care for their brother. Pearl Young's great-nephew says he'll remember her for her smile and her heart of gold. And Aaron Salter, a top security guard and former Buffalo police officer, was also identified.
We were, unarmed, and for somebody to come over here in this black and brown community and gun us down like we're animals is really ridiculous.
Here we go again, and I'm 63, and this is our experience. This is our legacy, survival, attempts being made on our lives because of our color.
Many came together today through prayer. Churches opened their doors to all faiths.
Hoping that it does bring a space for folks to safely grieve and lament, but I'm also hoping that this is the beginning of a sustained conversation about how we can better live together, about how white supremacy endangers us all.
Volunteers also handed out food and offered support at the scene.
Take every day and moment and cherish it. That's all I can say. Tell everybody that you love them.
Tonight, this family says they'll still celebrate Mom's birthday together.
We're still making that cake.
Oh, yeah. Making cake? Yeah.
Talia Ricci, CBC News, Buffalo, New York.
Well, back to the GTA, where police say a man in his 20s was found dead in the Credit River in Brampton. Fire and emergency services were called to Churchville Park around 3:30 this afternoon. They were able to find the man in the water and turn him over to paramedics, but he was pronounced dead. Police say the exact circumstances around the death are unknown and they are still investigating. Switching gears now to another big story tonight, a return to normalcy as the biggest showcase of Canadian music returned to the stage tonight in person and for the first time ever outside. Eli Glasner joins us live from Budweiser stage. You had a front row seat. Tell us how this all kicked off because it sure looked fun.
It was an amazing show. Started with the Arkells. It just went up and up. Simu Liu did a great job of hosting, had a hilarious bit doing his own spin on the I Am Canadian. You remember that classic beer commercial? But then we had Tesher dancing, doing his Jalebi Baby viral sensation from TikTok. And Simu shows up and is dancing flawlessly with Tesher because, of course, you know, why wouldn't he be? Mustafa was very impressive. You might know this amazing artist. He won for Best Alternative Artist. He sings folk songs, but about his time as a black Muslim in Regent Park, and really talking quite earnestly and singing beautifully about how that part of Toronto is changing. Now, then we had Debra Cox being inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. An amazing story. This is someone who was writing songs in her apartment in Scarborough with her husband. Couldn't get any traction in Canada because in the early 90s there was nowhere for her songs to be played on the radio.
So fun, man.
And then she had to go to the States. She got discovered, and now she's inspiring a new generation of fans. And here's what she had to say about that on the red carpet.
I'm really inspired that this moment is just going to springboard and inspire more people like me, little girls like me who didn't have representation, to just get into this industry.
Charlotte Cardin is your big winner of the night, taking home 4 Juno Awards, including Best Artist, Best Single. She wrote this album, Phoenix. She wrote it for her. It's connected with millions of people. Goes home a Juno's winner 4 times over.
Yeah, so those are the winners.
We get lady in the Junos, you know what I'm saying? Everything in the spot, we get lady.
Thank you very much.
Subscribe to Run and Kishka. Yeah.
Fans are excited, you know?
Here,
Oh my gosh, for sure. Everybody's riding high. So tell us, like, we have the winners, and then we have all these amazing performances. What were your favorites?
I mean, you got to talk about Avril Lavigne. She started playing. She did this wonderful medley of hits. And even in the media room, people were losing it, singing along, saying, she is my childhood. I have to say, personally, one of my favorites, beyond as amazing as Avril Lavigne was, there's this new wave of musicians, many of them who got their start on TikTok, including Baby No Money from Vancouver. He did a version of his song Edamame with a marching band. He was wearing this suit that looked like a kid's playroom. It was remarkable. And also, we should mention, little guy named Shawn Mendes, who came back to Toronto, goes home with 2 Junos, made a beautiful speech about Juno Awards are nice, but you are enough. So still a nice Canadian boy at heart.
A Pickering boy at that. Thank you so much, Eli, reporting for us live tonight from Budweiser Stage. Well, tomorrow night, the leaders of the provincial parties vying for your vote are set to debate. But today, there was some sparring on the campaign trail. And as Lorenda Redekop shows us, the NDP also announced how much their plans will cost weeks after releasing a party platform.
The NDP showed how it would pay for its platform today, almost 3 weeks after releasing it.
Our platform is realistic, it's achievable, and is ready to go when we are elected government.
To pay for increases in areas such as healthcare, disability supports, and welfare, they'd increase taxes for corporations, the wealthy earning more than $220,000 a year, and also add a tax on luxury vehicles. Plus, they'd get rid of the Progressive Conservative plan to reduce the gas tax for 6 months after the election.
If gas can be regulated and those negotiations can happen, why has Doug Ford chosen not to do that? Why would he just choose something gimmicky that, helps you pay for half a tank of gas?
The Liberals say taking away the tax break abandons the middle class. The NDP project it would take them 6 years to balance the books and get rid of the deficit. That's 1 year longer than the PCs, 2 years more than the Liberals.
If Doug Ford and Stephen Del Duca are willing to balance the budget on the backs of people who are waiting for surgery, that is their issue.
None of the main party leaders had appearances today, but politics didn't take a Sunday off. The Liberals attacked the PCs, accusing them of patronage.
Ford promised to slam the brakes on the gravy train, but Doug Ford's gravy train never stopped.
They found 16 examples of PCs who lost in the last election, appointed or hired to government jobs.
Doug Ford has said that he is a man for the people. He really has been all about his friends.
The PC party fired back with a Canadian Taxpayers Federation analysis from 2016, showing Liberal appointments of failed by-election candidates at both the federal and provincial level. All this perhaps a hint of what's to come tomorrow when the four main party leaders face off in the debate. Lorenda Reddicock, CBC News, Toronto.
Okay, so we go to the polls in just over 2 weeks. You heard Lorenda say at the leaders' debate tomorrow night. Our CBC coverage begins at 5 on Power and Politics. The debate starts at 6:30, and we have you covered on CBC News Network, CBC Radio 1, right here on CBC TV, and streaming on CBC Gem and CBC Listen. You can also catch a radio special hosted by our Chris Glover with analysis from Mike Crawley. That, too, starts at 6:30. Gas prices reaching unprecedented levels today. Now, the highest they have ever been in much of Ontario. The average price of fuel in Toronto now $2.09. That's a jump of 11 cents a litre since Friday. At this time last year, the price of gas was $1.30 a litre. Remember thinking that was expensive? Well, get this. Prices at the pump are expected to rise ahead of the long weekend. Victoria Fan Alvarado is here. I feel like you're wearing your Leafs blue, right? I know,
I'm
you're
really
a big
sad
fan.
about it.
I think there's a lot of sadness today, you know?
I was pretty sad about it. That's why I just need to diverge my thoughts to the weather.
And it's beautiful. It was
so nice. This weekend's been so nice. It was beautiful. And we actually have a lunar eclipse tonight. It's a blood flower super lunar eclipse. You're not going to want to miss it. It peaks at 12:11 a.m., so just right after the newscast, a little bit after. If you look outside now, you can probably see the moon really large. But hopefully the clouds don't obstruct your view. Yes, we have some rain on the way for your Monday. The cloud cover is going to make temperatures a little cooler. Shannon was saying how nice it was out this weekend, and it's true, but the temperatures are going to be about 5 degrees cooler than what we experienced. We do have a potential risk for a possible thunderstorm tonight on your Sunday, cooler conditions, and then as we head into Monday, 14 degrees for your morning, but that's when the rain starts to kick in. We have torrential rain, which could produce some localized flooding and some strong wind gusts as well. We're going to talk more about this in your long-range forecast and more on the temperature dip when I come back later on in a little bit. I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Victoria.
Thank you.
A group of Ukrainians are settling in tonight in Toronto. They were brought over by a Christian relief organization. As you can imagine, it has been a long and painful journey, but as Paula Duhatschek reports, now perhaps marks a new beginning.
A warm welcome this afternoon for a group of Ukrainians who arrived at Pearson International Airport.
I'm tired. I'm sleep and eat.
Tired after a long journey from Ukraine to Poland to Canada, but grateful to finally be out of harm's way.
We are very happy and calm because it's a very difficult situation in Ukraine, and here we feel ourselves safe.
We couldn't believe that it could happen, and we've been even, asking them again if it's true. So they say, yeah, you're lucky to go.
Hard to believe, in part because it all happened so fast. The charity has been sending planes full of relief supplies to Europe.
And it became known to us that these folks had relatives in Canada. They had visas to get here and to stay here, but they had no way to get here. So because our DC-8 was taking supplies over to Europe, we decided to make it a two-way relief flight.
That piece is hard-won for people who've already been through a lot.
We are in chats, we are still reading all the news, that Lviv, was attacked again. When you're under bombings, just under attacks and sirens are all the time in your head, even if you hear any kind of plane somewhere, you think that maybe it's danger, But yeah, that's why that was the reason just to move.
Experts say it's something to think about as more Ukrainians arrive in Canada.
Those receiving them or those helping them have to understand that these are people coming with a lot of baggage, not only physical baggage, but mental baggage as well.
That can make for some mixed emotions.
From one side is really wonderful to understand that the kids are safe and everything gonna change. But from the other side, it's a big concern about, what's ahead of us. So I mean, we'll try. We'll try to get, how to say it. We'll try to succeed.
Some from this group will stay in Ontario. Others will move on to stay with family in Alberta and Saskatchewan. Wherever they end up, they're hoping for better days ahead. Paula Duhacek, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, it was a beautiful sunny Sunday to take in a friendly football match between Team Poland and Team Ukraine, all part of the Ontario Soccer League Cup game. As Dahlia Ashry shows us, it was also a big show of support.
I know that there's solidarity on the field right now and off the field, but who do you really want to?
Ukraine! Ukraine, for sure, but I mean, we'll be happy if Poland wins as well. They've done a lot for us.
Toronto's Ukrainian and Polish community came together today for some fun in the sun. Hundreds of people took the stands at Centennial Park in Etobicoke, one of Toronto's biggest Ukrainian and Polish community, cheering on Team Olympia, Ontario's Polish team, and FC Ukraine United, Ontario's Ukrainian team. According to the United Nations, as of May 11th, Poland has taken in over 3 million Ukrainian refugees.
This is an official game of the Ontario Soccer League, and because we're playing Ukrainian team today, we thought it would be a good idea to turn it into an event.
Sasha Kaplan has been playing for a team, FC Ukraine United, for over a decade.
Fortunately, we've been able to be in touch with friends, family, friends of friends. And yes, most people have gone out, either out west or to Poland or other countries in Europe.
For him and president of the team, Vlad Koval, today is more than just a regular soccer match.
Communities getting together and doing this amazing fundraising for the people that in need in Ukraine. And we are so thankful to all the Polish community that came and support us.
Proceeds from today's sales will be going for humanitarian aid for Ukraine.
People are suffering, they need help. Nobody wants to, live in that kind of, situation. So we have to support as much as we can.
But one goal everyone had today, besides getting the soccer ball in the nets,
we want to obviously help out the Ukrainians in need. That's who the winners are. Hopefully this crisis abroad ends very quickly for everybody.
Dahlia Ashry, CBC News, Toronto.
Welcome back. It was another heartbreaking end for Leafs fans last night.
The Stanley Cup champions 2 years running have won their 9th consecutive playoff series.
The Leafs dropping Game 7 against the reigning Stanley Cup champs at Scotiabank Arena last night. Tampa Bay took the game in a closely contested 2-1 victory. Toronto is now 0-9 in elimination games over their last 5 playoff appearances. Fans were disappointed, although some say they are still hopeful for the future.
This is an all-star team. This is all-star talent. I think confidence is key for this group. It's getting past that first round. This team can fly high. So we look forward to when that moment comes for the city and for the fans. Fortunately, it didn't happen tonight, but we know it'll happen soon. So we're looking forward to that for sure.
Optimism. Toronto set franchise records this season with 54 wins and 115 points and tied a club record for fewest losses. Austin Matthews was also the first Leaf to tally 60 goals in a season, but the Leafs haven't been able to break into the second round since 2004. Well, over to the CFL, where a strike between the league and players' union forced the cancellation of some teams' training camps. Talks were cut short on Saturday after failing to reach a deal on a new collective bargaining agreement. The current agreement, reached in 2019, expired at midnight. The union has now directed players from 7 of the CFL's 9 teams to participate in a work stoppage. The only time the league has seen a strike was in 1974. 2024, but that was resolved before the start of the season. Stay with us. Time for a quick break. Some people in Toronto's Regent Park neighborhood were treated to lunch today by one of the city's most well-known philanthropists.
It doesn't matter how rich people are, we should always treat them equally and send them a message of love with a big smile while we're feeding them, and hopefully they'll go home. I don't think I'm making their life different. At least I'm making one day of their days better.
The CEO of Paramount Fine Foods serving up free shawarma to residents in need, along with Mayor John Tory today. About 300 people were served, and this isn't just a one-time deal. It's something Focky does every week. Victoria is back. I can't wait to get outside and see if I can see the moon. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet,
Okay.
but someone who just came in here was driving and they saw it, and they said that the moon was super bright right now, but when it peaks, it's going to get that orange and red color, and it's going to be super great. And this doesn't happen very often, so make sure that you head out to see that before you go to bed. I did talk about some rain, so here's the timing on that. Sunday overnight, so tonight and then into Monday, and that's going to be widespread rainfall, ranging from Windsor all the way to Ottawa. And even into your long range, it does linger still in through the Ottawa and Kingston area, but for Toronto and across the GTA, mainly clear for your Tuesday. Now, we do have a potential risk for the thunderstorm, like I mentioned, so just be aware when you're driving tomorrow to work on Monday morning. It is dangerous driving conditions when there is a thunderstorm and also when the roads are busy. So just slow down, make sure your headlights are on, and be aware of hydroplaning. So just drive to the conditions. With that too, we also have some strong wind gusts, more so for your Tuesday, ranging about to the 50-kilometer range, even up to 60 kilometers in some places like Peterborough if you're in that area. So that's also going to help fuel cooler conditions. Tuesday, 15 degrees in Toronto, Hamilton 15 and London as well, Windsor getting up to 19 degrees. And honestly, the rest of the week is going to be fairly similar. Our seasonal's 19 degrees in Toronto right now, so we are below that, but we finally get back up by next weekend. So a chillier start to your work week with that rain, but you know what? Rain is not always a bad thing. Sometimes I like to sit and enjoy a thunderstorm, and that's what I'm probably going to end up doing too, but make sure you see the moon tonight.
Thanks so much, Victoria.
Thank you.
Before we go, we have some Juno history to share with you. Prior to tonight's televised awards, a 13-year-old from Toronto became the youngest person ever to win in the reggae category.
My parents, I love you, Mom, I love you, Dad.
That's Cairo McLean accepting the Juno for Best Reggae Recording of the Year. You heard him. He gave a special shout out to his parents. His dad, Garvin, is a bass player. Originally from Jamaica, his mom plays the piano. Cairo says the future is looking bright. You better believe it. That's it for us this weekend. Thank you so much for being here. Big night tomorrow with the Leaders Debate. We got you covered on all platforms. We'll see you soon.